Hello everyone, greetings from VIGNAna JYOTHI Institute of Engineering and Technology. This is Manohar Reddy, Department of Cybersecurity, Data Science and AIDS. Today I am going to discuss about the concept of file access methods. So what is meant by file? What is meant by file access method? And what are the different types of file attributes and file types and file methods? All we can discuss in this session. So file access method. So first of all, what is meant by file? A file is nothing but what? A logical unit of data. A logical unit of data which stores and organizes, in the directory structure. So the file can be accessed, file can be stored, file can be retrieved. So to do this, we can able to do file access methods. So file access methods are the techniques for reading and writing data in file. So reading and writing are the two operations of the file. We can write the data, we can read the data into the file. So what amount of data we can write, what amount of data we can read. So file is containing different types of data. That may either number of data, that may either numerous data, characteristic data, image data, whatever it may be. So all the data which can be stored in a particular unit of entity, that is nothing but a file. So which can be store any data, After storing that all the data, as a user we can read the data and we can write the data or we can manipulate the data. So to do this all, we can able to access the data. We can able to access that particular file. So how we are going to access? So before going to access that file, we have to allocate the file into the particular folder or particular structure. So to do that, file allocation methods we already discussed in the previous session. So now based on that file allocation methods, we are going to file access methods. We are going to do file access methods. So what are the file access methods? So basically file access methods are the techniques for reading or writing data in a file. So we can able to open the file, we can able to read the data, we can able to modify the data if you want to require to modify, and if you want to delete also you can delete, and if you want to add some content, append the content into that file, we can do it all. So there are different types of file operations are there. So file stores different types of data. So different types of data are nothing but image data, numerous data, characteristic data, calculation data, and whatever it may be, PDF data, all types of data we can store in the particular file. So for this we can have different types of files. Take an example, .txt file which stores text data, and .png file which stores image data, .jpeg file which stores image data, .pdf which stores PDF data, .adva which stores video file data. Like that, all the different types of files are available. So file stores different types of data. So that different types of data can be stored in different types of file. So now the files are stored, but how we can able to access that file? So if we write something on the file, we can able to access. So how to access that file? So they define how information is organized. So these file access methods are defining that how the file information is organized, retrieved and modified. So how we can able to organize the data, how we can able to retrieve the data, how we can able to modify the data. So choosing the right method is important for performance and data management process. So choosing the right method, right access method is important for performance and data management process. So there are three ways to access a file in computer system. So we can able to access the file in three ways. First one is what? Sequential access. So how we are going to allocate in a sequential manner? In the same way we can able to access a sequential manner. So because of that, sequential access is one of the method for file accessing purpose. And the second one is what? Direct access method. So direct access method is also one of the method for file accessing purpose. And third one is what? Index sequential method. So based on the indexes we are going to access the particular file. So these are the three ways to access the file in a computer system. So nowadays we are going to access a file from the hard disk or file from the computer system. But how we are going to access, we know. But what is that method that we are going to access is not able to know. So that methods are these sequential access method, direct access method, and indexed sequential access methods. Let us discuss one by one each together. So first one is what? Sequential access. So it is also called as sequential access or serial access. So in this file access method, where data is read or write in order, one record after another, that is starting from the beginning. So starting from the beginning, we are going to perform the accessing of the file, which moves forward automatically after each operation, after one operation to another operation. So sequential file access is the most straightforward method for accessing a file. So this method accesses data as one record at a time by starting from the beginning of the file to its end of the file. And moreover, the records are read or written in the order they appear in the file. So the records are read or written in the order they appear in the file. So how we are writing the file in the sequential manner is going to access in the same way we are going to read the file. So the main advantage of sequential file access is simplicity, which makes easy to implement and use. So sequential manner. So how we are going to access? So go to the, if we have a file in the particular D drive VNR VJET folder. So how we can able to access that file? Go to the C drive, go to the computer, go to the D drive, go to the VNR VJET folder, then go to the file which you want to access. So that is the sequential operations, serial operations. So you have to access one by one file after one file. So like that we can able to access one by one. So that is nothing but sequential access or serial access. The main advantage of this sequential access is what? Simplicity, which makes easy to implement and use. And in contrast, the main disadvantage, we cannot say disadvantage, but the limitation is that can be slow and inefficient for random access operations. If you want to access the file can be random, it is not possible. We have to go to the series of actions. So go to the series of actions from one folder to another folder, till the file can be accessed. So when working with the large files, it is impossible. So if we have the multiple files or large number of files, then it is not possible to go to the particular location in sequential manner. So at that moment, this sequential access or serial access can be a limitation for that accessing method. So here if you can see, the following image displays the sequential access method. So when you want to access the particular file, if suppose the file is in this folder, this is the file, then we can able to access from the beginning point of view. Go to the first folder, second folder, third folder, fourth folder, like that. The file is located in which folder, we have to go to that folder. So till that folder we have to move and access the particular file. Till we have to move to that particular folder, access that particular file. So this is the sequential access or serial access. And second method is direct access method or random access method. A file access method that allows data to be read or written directly at any block or record. So we can able to access directly. If you know the file name, we can able to access the particular file directly. So how we are going to access? Suppose if you see in the search bar of your computer system, if you type something like .txt, if you type .txt, it displays all the files which are extended with .txt. It displays all the files which are extended with .txt. It displays. How it displays? It displays all the .txt files which are appear on the random method can be able to display. So out of that all the files, you can access your file. Suppose if I have directly simple.txt, I have stored in simple.txt file in the particular D drive folder. So how we can able to access? So simply go to the search bar option, type simple. Then after typing that simple only, the computer system identifies the files which are located with the name simple or simple.txt. It displays all the files. So all the files which are naming with the simple can be displayed. So that is what the reader directly at any block or record. So we can able to access randomly or directly. So direct we can able to access the file. So here you can see using its address block number. So where it is stored, that address we can easily identify and displays that particular file, so that a file can be accessed. It supports random access without scanning any previous record. So no need of performing sequential operation, sequential moving of the folder, and we can able to directly access that particular folder by typing that name of that folder or by typing that name of the file, so that we can able to access the file easily. Assume that each block of storage holds 4 records and the record we want to access is stored in the block, so we can able to access. In such situation, sequential access will not be used, since it will have to traverse all of the blocks to get the required record. So in the sequential manner, sequential access, what will happen, if I want to go to this particular simple.txt file, I have to move from the starting folder to ending file where it is located, that folder. So we have to move from one folder to second folder to third folder to till where the simple.txt is available. So that process, that sequential operations will be used in the sequential access. But in this situation, in direct access method situation, random access method situation, sequential access will not be used, because it will have to traverse all of the blocks to get the required record. So as the name itself, direct access method, it stores particular block of the record. So if you type that particular name of the file, it identifies the particular record and it will directly access, will allow us to access the required record constantly. So it can able to access directly. So suppose if you see in the sequential manner, what will happen, to access this particular file, it moves block 1 to block 2 to block 3 to block 4 to block 5 till block 6. But this is the direct access method. It cannot see all the folders, because this is the random file. If you type something here that is located in the particular block 6, will be identified under displays. So this is the random access method or direct access method. So compare with the sequential access method, this can be taken very less time to access the particular file. Advantage of direct access method. So the files can be immediately accessed, decreasing the average access time. So if you go for the serial access time or sequential access time, it takes average access time more, right? So if you perform this direct access method or random access method, it immediately access, decreasing the average access time. In the direct access method, in order to access a particular block, so there is no need of traversing all the blocks present before it. So no need of traversing all the blocks, but sequential manner, we have to traverse each and every folder till the file has been found. So that only the disadvantage from the sequential file, and this is the advantage for direct access method. Now the direct disadvantages of direct access methods, somewhat complex implementation than that sequential access. So implementing direct access can be complex and requiring sophistication algorithm and data structures to manage and locate records efficiently. However, the data structures are always being provided with a efficiency of the storage process, but implementation point of view, this is somewhat complex implementation than the sequential access, and higher storage overhead also. So direct access methods often require additional storage for maintaining location information such as pointer or address table. So to identify the particular address of the file, it has to store a particular separate storage as well as particular pointer or address tables to move that particular file, and which can increase the overall storage requirements also. So this is somewhat disadvantage. So accessing purpose, it is very efficiency, but while to do that accessing method, the implementation is somewhat complex and the storage overhead is somewhat complex. So these two are somewhat limitations from the direct access method. And the third one is what? Indexed sequential access method. And this approach to accessing a file that is constructed on top of the sequential access mechanism. So which can be performing sequential access method also, along with that maintaining indexes. So this method is practically similar to the pointer to pointer concept, in which we store the address of a pointer variable containing the address of some other variable or record in another pointer variable. So it always checks to identifying the next location till the file has been found, till the file has been found. So indexed based means, so it always maintain the indexes for the particular values of the data. So if any value, if any file is with the value, then go for the particular index of that particular value. So this is the main mechanism of performing indexed sequential array. So here the indexes, similar to the book's index pointers, contain a link to various blocks present in the memory. To locate a record in the file, we first search the indexes and then we use the pointer to pointer concept to navigate the required file. So here if you want to see the particular file, we do not go to the direct to the file. We can use the index mechanism. If I type something in the search bar, if I type something that is a simple dot text in the search bar, or dot text in the search bar, or simple in the search bar, it displays with the indexed mechanism all the files which are naming with the simple. That may the text file, or that may the image file, or that may either PDF file, or that may either audio file, or whatever it may be. All the files which are naming with the simple can be displayed. These are all storing in particular index. So out of that all, you want to access particular simple dot text. After that all, you want to access particular simple dot text. So the pointer moves to the simple dot text directly from the index of simple. From the index of simple, it moves to the pointer. It moves pointer to the simple dot txt as the file user wants to access. So for this purpose, we have to maintain both indexes as well as pointers. So here, to locate a record in the file, we first search the index and then use the pointer to pointer concept to navigate the required file. So primary index block contains the link of the secondary inner blocks, which contains links to the data in the memory. So we can use both primary index blocks as well as secondary, because secondary inner blocks are maintaining pointers, primary index blocks are containing the indexes. Right. So this is the way we can access. See this diagram. If I want to access the particular file under 9, so what will happen? So first it moves to the index block 5. So from this 5, what are the files are available? 1, 2, 3 and 6. Out of these all 1, 2, 3, 6, which file you want to access? Then you can access. And similarly for the 9 act as a index file, and from 9, 10, 11 and 14, 15 files are there. So if you want to access that particular file 15, so it must move to the index blocks 9, then pointer to the next block, and displays the last 15 file. So this is the way we can able to access the file access mechanism through the indexes, primary index blocks and secondary index blocks. So primary index blocks maintains only the indexes, secondary inner blocks are maintaining all pointers to pointing to the next value till the value which has been found. So this is the indexed sequential access mechanism. So advantages of this indexed sequential access method: if the index table is appropriately arranged, it accesses the records very quickly. So if the index table is appropriately arranged, then it can access the values or records very quickly compared with those two. And records can be added at any position in the file quickly. So records can be added in the any position in the file quickly, because the indexes are maintaining for all operations. So for performing read operation, write operation, modify operation, append operation, whatever it may be, all that records can be added by maintaining this index. If you modify this index, the all values can be modified. So that is the advantages of file quickly accessing the position. And disadvantage of indexed sequential access is, when compared to other file access methods, means the serial or sequential access method or direct or random access method, it costly and less efficient, somewhat costly and less efficient compared with them. And it needs additional storage space also. So to do this all process, for maintaining indexes, for maintaining pointers, and for linking each and every pointer to another pointer, there must be required a lot of additional storage space. So this is the disadvantage compared with those two access methods. So these are all the file access methods to access a particular file from the hard disk. So these are the file access methods that I hope all of you understand, and use the below links for more data about these file access methods. Use the geeks4geeks.org website and eGyan Kosh website, and the operating system design implementation by third edition by Thanambam Pearson Education. Thank you all.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe VNR Digital Learning Resource YouTube channel.